friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today I want to talk about bottles and jars and why you should save a lot of those ones that you may be getting in. Now, you've heard me talk about the infinity jars. And yes, they're great. And yes, I recommend them. And yes, I have a link. There are more frugal options you can use for storing your tinctures and your extracts and whatever else it is you need that will at least help. They may not be as effective as the infinity jars, but they will definitely be much better than storing in clear glass if it's something you got to keep out. Like I like to keep my homemade colloidal copper and colloidal silver out and handy. And now these bottles I bought off of Amazon, and I'll put a link to these below. They're about $8 a piece, which is more expensive than buying a plastic bottle, but these are really nice bottles, spray bottles. They're a dark brown. They're actually the same brand. For whatever reason, they ended up with different tops, but that's okay. It makes it easier for me to tell the difference between the copper and the silver, which I'm almost out of. Now, the reason this one here looks lighter is because that one's almost empty, and I need to go make some more. But I always have tons of colloidal silver on hand. And so I bought these because silver and copper should be stored in glass rather than plastic. But you still have the plastic, tube coming down, but at least it's not much. But you should never store it in metal. And so that is one option. That's something you still have to buy, though. Now, this bottle right here is actually, I have some liquid soap, Dr. Bronner soap stored in this one. And this is, you may recognize this, it's one of the things I tend to talk about a lot that I use a lot in cooking and stuff, and that is an avocado oil bottle. So this is the Chosen Foods avocado oil. It's a nice dark bottle, and it's a very beautiful color of green on top of it. And a lot of times the lids that you'll get with some of those are just those little flimsy metal lids that they bend up really easy. So what I'll do, especially if it's something I'm storing like soap or oils in, I will go down to the store, the hardware store, and you can find these corks in various sizes in the hardware section, like next to the nuts and bolts, usually in those little pull-out drawers. That's where I found mine. And so this is the best option for tops. And you'll see here in this bottle here is some more of my homemade colloidal silver. And this is a recycled sparkling cider bottle. And in this one I have a silicone cork, but I do actually, these are old. I do want to get some more of the cork and start using those on all of my bottles like that. But again, a nice dark green color. So that's going to help preserve your colloidal silver. So colloidal silver is another one of those things that needs to be stored in a dark bottle. This is an empty, just cleaned up sparkling cider bottle. We don't actually buy this stuff. My son buys it. And so I have him just save the bottles for me. So I get quite a few of these, especially around, in the fall and stuff is when he likes to buy it. But the great thing about these is that it comes with these lids that you can reuse, but sometimes they can be a little tough to get on and put off. So if you have like weak fingers and hands, you may want to opt for getting the corks like this for the bottle. Now I don't remember what size it is these take. It's like a 1 or a 2. So you may have to measure your top and then go in there, and when you go to shop for the corks, just see what the measurements are. And here's another example of a great bottle. This one I really like because it's very dark. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this in here, so I can hold up to the window and you can see the difference in light. And it's like a kind of between, it's a real dark olive green. This is a bottle of, had balsamic vinegar in it. When normally I don't buy things in this size, but I wanted to try it first to see if I liked it, so I bought this smaller bottle. And it's such a great bottle. It's even got grapes here. So it's just a beautiful bottle to begin with. So great option for storing tinctures. And then this I mentioned before, and you can find these on Amazon, but the ones I have I actually found at garage sales. I still ended up paying $1 a piece for them, but to me they were worth it to have a nice swing top bottle and a good dark brown. And this one has my herbal pain remedy tincture in it. And this is all from garden grown herbs. So these are some options right here, but just so you can see the difference. here's an infinity bottle, and when you hold it up to the light, absolutely no light is coming through. Whereas any of these other ones, you've got light coming through. So just so you can see that there is a difference, but these are going to be your more frugal option because not everybody can afford the expensive infinity jars. Because these still let light through though. It's not something that you'll want to leave out like in a window like you would this. You're still going to want to keep it in a darker corner of your kitchen, your wherever it is you're keeping it, or maybe even in a pantry. And I said this in another video, like with my tinctures that I like to have handy. I keep them on top of the refrigerator, and where that is, that there's not a whole lot of light that gets in there, but they're still sitting down inside a plastic box that I have lined with fabric, so very little light is getting into these bottles. So I feel pretty good about that. Obviously, you know, a bottle like this is going to totally black out the light, is going to be the best for that. But if you're going through your product rather quickly anyway, which we don't with the paint stuff, but some stuff we might go through kind of quickly, like the copper I spray in the spray bottle, I tend to use it fairly fast, and whatever else it is, then I really don't think you're going to have to worry about it so much. But I just kind of felt compelled to do this video because I do know that I'm very much about being frugal and reusing whatever I can, and I want people to see that there are other options out there. And so you know, maybe you, just like with me, maybe you don't buy sparkling cider, but you know someone that does, and they just toss their bottles. Just ask them for their bottles. Or even smaller bottles like this of balsamic vinegar and things in dark bottles. Just ask your friends. If you don't already buy it, then there's somebody that does, I'm sure that you know, and just say, hey, save your bottles, I need those. And I'm sure they'll say, oh, sure, then, because that's one less thing they have to haul off to the dump. And besides, these are so pretty. And here was the other thing I wanted to say. Obviously, all these things here came with labels already on them. So a lot of the stuff, like the avocado one, their labels actually peel off fairly easy. But then you'll have the ones that, like these ones are a little harder to get off. So a couple of options you can use is soaking them in hot water, you know, or laying a hot rag, you know, wet rag over them, you know, lay them on their side, and then just let it sit there and to soften it up, and then use a paint scraper. And then another option is to try, or you may even need to do both, the Goo Gone recipe that I posted in another video, and I'll link to that right up here, and you can go check that out. And that works really well. Let's say maybe you got most of it peeled off and there's still all that gummy junk left there, then you can just take that recipe that I have there and just rub that on there, and it works really good for getting all the residue off. All right, so I hope that you find that helpful, and just know that there are options, and I totally support everything about being frugal, because that is me. I try to be as frugal as possible, and this is one way you can do it. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.